of a who than a what. You might say a certain Neothasian who sometimes eschews the light, but's got a kind heart and a good head on his shoulders. I don't know what's wrong with me. Whenever he's near, I get all tongue-tied, and when he's not, I can't stop thinking about him. Does anyone but the gods know what's going on in Adair's head? I mean, he's a right fine fella. Kind, too, but a little old. Forgive me. I hadn't the notion you two were intended. Surely I'll speak no more of him again. That what you call a woman of 7 and 20? Or do you mean to say I'm immature? Better suited to another, mayhaps? And focus on what? Or do you mean who? Got a suggestion for me? And on what does it depend? You gonna kiss me now, Watcher? 'Cause if you were, I guess I might not complain. You think me shallow. But it's not just that, really. I've been trying my best, but I think maybe he dislikes me. That's so. Figure it's a fine thing we cleared the air then. You sure know how to woo a gal, don't you, Watcher? Oh, that was not quite what I had in mind. Suppose it's not meant to be. Good gone. That was... darn it all if I'm not a fool for you, Watcher. I'll take that as a no. Thanks for letting me down easy. You sound like my high priestess when she's debating slapping the tar out of me. Best I quit my fooling. We do, don't we? I like Maya. She's tougher than iron, slick as a mink, and smart to boot. Course, she's real pretty, too. I do. I tried not to, but I can't hardly help it. He's just so considerate and nice. If not to me, then everyone else. And he's so darn big and strong. I know my pa would have liked him. Problem is, I think he doesn't much like me, Watcher. Aside from the fact that every time I talk to him, he shoots me down. One night, while everyone was sleeping. Right. All you need to know is it didn't work. I might have borrowed a bottle of rum and shook him awake. I thought he'd be more open to talk by the light of my lantern, you know, if it was just the two of us. He looked at me like I was a scorpion that had crawled into his sleeping bag. What should I do? You'll help me, Watcher, won't you? True enough. Even I know you can't catch a stag if you don't hunt. I'll try my gone darnest. I can promise you that. I hope you're right. And that's gonna get us to bumping ugly sooner than later, is it? 'Cause every time I mention as much, it's like I got dead rat for breath. Call me skeptical. But I'll think on it, I can promise you that. What good's a man who can't admit his feelings? You might think me naive, and you might be right, but I've seen both types in a family, and I think there ought to be a little heat between a husband and his wife. I do want to raise a family someday, whether it's with someone else or not. That's assuming we all live long enough. And I'm wrong about the coming darkness. In the meantime... Am I now? Looking at the wrong person? I sure appreciate you taking my side, Watcher. Sometimes a girl gets to doubting herself, and it feels like the whole world thinks you're wrong. But even when we don't see eye to eye, I know you got my back. And you should know I always got yours. That doesn't fix my problem, though. That's exactly what a girl longs to hear. Great, just wonderful. Is there anyone I haven't yet driven away? I knew it. I'm a mess. Hopeless. I couldn't charm my way out of a grain sack if my life depended on it. Really? You wouldn't just be saying that to protect my feelings? Might be I was looking for love and affection, for understanding, in all the wrong places. I gotta admit, you're far too good for me. I didn't even think I had a shot. But now I wonder, Watcher, do you maybe want me? Oh, of course you were. My what now? Oh, no. Yes, I mean, maybe. I tried a couple times, but it was to no avail. No, I've not. Nor will I. Uninvited, that is. Which at this pace is gonna be never. Sakes alive, Watcher! Keep your voice down, will ya? And no. Suppose you're not wrong. Suppose I made a fool of myself. A bigger one than usual. Well, if everything went easy, there'd be no reason to worship our gods. Whatever do you mean, Watcher? Well, that's your opinion, and now that you've said it, I can take it to heart. In the meantime, we'd best get back to it. Don't I know it? Seems he's good for everyone but me. Might be I was looking for love and affection, for understanding, in all the wrong places. I knew I had no shot with you, so I thought maybe instead, but I reckon that doesn't matter now. Not anymore. I know this is madness, and you'll probably hate me forever if I voice this, but I'll hate myself more if I don't. You do? I hope that's a good sign then, or at least tops the usual omens I get. To be honest, I thought I'd be more torn up about it. I'd like to believe so, yes. Thanks to your advice, we've had a couple heart-to-hearts. I'd like to think that at least we're friends. No, I'm fairly sure it's not gonna work out. Well, to put it simply, you are. Forgive my audacity. I know I've got no place to, but I care for you, more than I can rightly say. I was wondering if you might return the sentiment. I thought I was too at first, but somewhere along the way, well, I realized he wasn't the one making my heart stutter. I don't look up to him like I do you, and he sure doesn't make me sweat like you do. You have. I know you have. It's just that the truth is, I was afraid to want you. I didn't think the Watcher himself could be interested in me. When you think about it, how powerful you are compared to me, it doesn't hardly make any sense, does it? More than that, I don't just care for you. I want you, Watcher, for always. Like gone on a rampage, and the coming darkness in the final harvest? Yeah, I suppose we do. Thank you for reminding me of my priorities. Why would I believe, or hell even think, the Watcher himself could be interested in me? Wanted it desperately, yes, but hoped? I'm almost afraid to believe it, that you would want me just as much and fierce. But darned if it doesn't make me so very, very happy. I'm gonna make you so glad you picked me, Watcher. You'll see. You taste like forgotten dreams, like fate. You kidding me? I don't much like being teased, Watcher. Don't think I'll offer again. You're right about that. When you touch me like this, even through my clothes, I can feel it hot as a brand. I'd sear your name over my heart, Watcher, if you'd only let me. But other parts of you feel just as hot, or hotter even. Bet I'd like to find out. If you're sure you'll have me, I'll do my best to stand tall by your side. You'll see, I'll make you proud yet. You and my God. But you best know it now. I'm not a woman to share. Sakes alive. Ready and willing. Watcher, I thought you might never ask. Let's reconvene in the captain's cabin where we can take it slow. I only ask you to be patient with me. There's so much I've longed to try and to see, or to not see. Let me turn my lantern low. I want nothing but shadows between us. That was divine. Surely, Watcher, you are a blessing from gone. Think carefully before you speak next, 'cause I don't do takebacks. I know I can sometimes come across a tad too intense. I guess I'm not surprised it had to come to this. So you'd best be sleeping with one eye open for the remainder of our trip. I only hope we can still be friends. Don't fool with me like that. I can't tell when you're being serious.
Oh, you wanted something, Captain? What, me? You could say that. Well, if you've got a moment then. Just thought I'd mention that if Shodi and I weren't already... Been meaning to say that if you and Fishboy weren't already so chummy. Been trying to say that it's a pity you're already accounted for, Captain. You're halfway towards being a decent catch. Forget I said anything, it's not important. I'll go ahead and say it. You're halfway toward all right. Say no more. I'll give you some room to breathe. Come on, Ishii. Oh, I know, but it's kind of you to say. A captain is better than my usual slim pickings, which is a bunch of lore college dropouts playing sailor. Hypothetically speaking, I mean. Harmless compliment, I promise. Have you ever... Dumb question, but here I go anyway. You ever gotten close to someone, even though it just wasn't... ordinary? Yeah, that about kicks the legs out from under ordinary, doesn't it? If that's your idea of out of the ordinary, then you need a lesson, my friend. Below deck, there are only 2 rules. Keep it interesting and remember your bitter squash. Maybe I'm doing a poor job of explaining myself. What did I tell you, Ishii? What I'm talking about is a scenario where a difference in rank can get in the way of enjoying shore leave. Yeah, that about covers it. This is like picking oakum. Well, that's why we have these little chats. I'm just testing the direction of the wind here. Best not to overthink it. Interesting answer. I like the sound of that authority. As winds do. For what it's worth, I don't disagree. I was just curious. I've enjoyed that sort of arrangement before. Nothing to suggest I won't enjoy it again someday. Naturally. It's all hypothetical here. Depends on what's in front of me and what's on the horizon, Captain. Captain, what did I just tell you about not overthinking this? Well, I've laid out my thoughts. You must have a couple. Be a pleasure, Captain. Funny thing is that Ishii can get particular about people. And when he doesn't take to someone, neither do I. You're the one with the spyglass into people's souls. You tell me how it works. I'm sure he'd tell you if you asked nicely. Did I say that? Not everyone's a bird lover, that's fine. Some days I can't stand another second of Captain Stinkfeathers. But Ishii and I are never parted for longer than a few breaths. Take that however you will. Try not to use any foul language.
Well, this is unexpected. I can think of one, but was your question rhetorical? What exactly did you set out to accomplish by peering into the soul of this noble creature? I am asking the questions. I see. Perhaps you don't know him as I do. You must put a great deal of faith in Maya to find yourself in this situation. Are you so certain that she deserves your trust? You should already know better than to trust everything Maya has to say. The prospect of sharing her company I can tell from here that it intrigues. You have not postured to her with the same enthusiasm. I wonder what she offers that you do not desire. Far be it from me to judge affection. Better that it bloom or wilt uninterrupted. While the Deadfire is being cut, cauterized, and trampled, it is charming to find someone who makes time for such elaborate foreplay. A word of advice, Watcher. I can say for certain that this is a very hungry, overworked, and at times underappreciated bird. He and Maya share that much in common, at least. Beyond that, I leave the rest up to you. Best of luck in your mating ritual, Watcher. Observing, the one you call a Shiza makes for a convenient lens into your travels. Try not to take it too personally. Do you often turn to birds for relationship advice? I sense that Maya does not easily allow others into her confidence. She is observing you closer than you might guess. She has much on her mind. This may all be a whimsical diversion. That, or she is softening you up for the red work of her masters. But you already know about that. Or didn't you know? Put it out of mind for now. Perhaps it isn't for me to say. All in good time. I babble. What does the goddess of creativity know of kith courtship? Such a heartless word for an occupation which takes great skill to practice well.
I hope that was as amusing for you as it was for me. Oh, I've never seen him so forlorn. Try not to tease my bird in the future.
This shark will decide who eats him and when, I say.
Now that is what I'd call a happy bird. Not to mention a fat bird. Pretty soon I'll have to roll him around like a cask of ale. Well, mark of a good captain, I'd say. Consider your performance noted. Well, I like a man who carries around raw meat. We have that going for us. You struck me as hesitant before, but I guess you're warming to the idea of us being something. It didn't take you long to open up to the idea at first. I like that eagerness. Let's say you've graduated to achieving the bare minimum of my favor, which is farther than most anyone gets. You're talking to a competitive naval sharpshooter with a litter of brothers. Everything's a test. But you also fed my bird, which is just plain decent. Hey, not so fast. Sorry, I'm not new to this. I'm just not used to sharing company longer than a single voyage. I can't say where this goes next, but I'm keen on where it is now. I've enjoyed female company in the past, in case, for any reason, you were wondering. A man will do in a pinch, as long as their best thinking comes from the appropriate brain. Women usually make for better conversation. Not that this isn't its own kind of charming. I just get a feeling about certain people, no matter their equipment. And before you ask, the answer is no.
Kara, I said nothing.
I usually go for the clever ones, though they're not always clever enough to tell that I'm available. What about you? What do you fancy? I don't blame you. Life gets in the way of that kind of thing often as not. That's okay. Unusual choice. We're all slaves to our own nameless want, aren't we? Interesting choice. That right.
Oh, the cat mayhaps be the first swabby since Romaro to be recognizing my many strengths, moral and ethical.
Reckon I like you too, Watcher.
Kara, just look at me.
Whatever works. I like that much better than tedious and uptight.
Well, Someone clearly missed the point. You're on track. Just try not to steer us into a sandbar, Captain. Sounds nice when you say it like that. A little wholesome for my taste, but nice. Fair enough. I'd say we both deserve some distance. Hey, aren't we both figuring this out as we go? So you're finally convinced that I won't steer us towards the rocks. Good. However it pans out, thanks for taking the time. And for the bird food. With everything going on at once, I wondered if... Gods, if we could talk. Later. You're making a lot of assumptions about how much time we have. You're a good captain. Maybe I don't say that enough. Can we take a detour to the officer's lounge in the Brass Citadel? I could use a drink. I'd feel cozier with my kind. Away from the rest of the rabble. I want to take my mind off what doesn't need to be there. I appreciate it, Captain. Hope you don't mind if I gather my thoughts on the way. Before I unload my cargo onto your port, how about you let me buy you a drink? May our enemies get caught up in their talons. To a good ship and a better crew. Maybe you can do this without liquid courage. I'm not there yet. And to all who defy the Lady of Lament by sailing across her back. You'll know as soon as I'm ready. May Aethys lose his footing and tumble down a sea trench. To every friend who vanished beneath the waves. I tell you, something about all that open water. Knew you were clever. To the mortar, and everything beyond it. Thank Bareth we have you as our living compass. I'd say Rawatai plans to set sail, compass or no. Flatterer. Suppose I wanted to talk about uncertainty. Under different circumstances, I'd be aboard that aimless fleet. Likely as not to die. As things stand, I'm thankful to be under your command, Captain. In a campaign that keeps changing, being a part of your crew makes me feel like I have a hand on the wheel. But now, all I see is open water on all sides. Funny thing is, I know you mean it, but I still worry. Sometimes I wonder if that's what you really want. I'll show you a sad drunk. You want the secret to a lady's heart? Insult her occupation. Ass. Remind me to have you on hand the next time I get like this. While the powers of the Deadfire claw at each other's faces, you'll be digging through a god's body for your soul. I'll be following orders. Well, unemployed. Doing what I do best. With all that uncertainty, do we even have room for this? I'm pouring my heart into every glass, Captain. Don't just sip it. I can tell there's something here worth clutching with both hands. Ugh, I'm as full as a barrel. I should gather my thoughts in healthier ways, like knitting or taxidermy. True. Shooting down gulls as we drift with the tide. I can get behind that. Wouldn't be the first time I considered it. Captain, when we're standing at the helm, the ship feels unsinkable. I'm glad I get to cozy up to that feeling. Yeah, she's as glad too, not that his opinion matters. Yeah, well, good shark meat is hard to come by. Might not be a bad idea. Once my head is cleared, I'm sure I'll think of an even better one. They have a special room here for ranking officers. And their guests. That's more of a closet, really. We can just talk. And if it goes any further, we'll know exactly why and how far to take it. Oh, look who grew some standards all of a sudden. Suit yourself, Captain. There's space in our quarters for that sort of thing. That sort of talk is just begging for mutiny. I felt that one down to my toes, Captain. I know what a kiss ought to feel like, Captain. Your heart wasn't in it. I just don't see this working. Never fails. Whenever I focus beyond my sights, my aim goes off. I can't let that happen. We had our fun. I'll go back to looking and listening. For what it's worth, I never told my boss about us. We were something in a way. Don't worry about the drinks, I've got a running tab. Don't mention it. Really don't. Withholding from a report can get me into trouble. I didn't think so. I was hoping. You're right. I guess I knew that from the beginning. Captain? Well, someone's been doing their morning stretches. Being a captain, a watcher, and the gods only know what else must be thirsty work. Well done. Always nice hearing that from an officer. No promises, Captain. You better learn to keep up with me. Don't I know it? Aye, aye, Captain. Time to ship off and see what the Deadfire throws at us next.
Watcher, I wanted to ask you about Maya, if you don't mind. Gods, where do I even start? Well, for one, I think we get along real swimmingly. Too swimmingly. It's the strangest thing, but sometimes when she's nearby, my heart gets to lurching in my chest like some wounded thing, and my stomach twists up. Especially when she kills someone, or she laughs. Yeah, I reckon it is. Thanks for hearing me out. If you'll pardon me, I won't bother you with it again. Well, I don't rightly know. Should I ask her? 'Cause I think maybe I should ask her, but no. That might make it weird between us, don't you think? Step 1, stop being such a darn chicken. Fair enough. What do you mean, Watcher? You think she's hard-hearted? 'Cause she served on a lot of ships? 'Cause she's moved on from more than a few people? I know it's a risk. That maybe one day she'll leave me in her wake, too. Right, of course. I didn't mean to... I mean, of course, I know we're friends. Just friends. What do you mean, Watcher? How she's a sharpshooter? Or is it 'cause she's so well-traveled and knows all the ways of the world? You don't think she'd hurt me or you, would she? Who wouldn't do what they had to do if forced into it? But I'll tell you this, she wouldn't have to hurt me. I'll gladly take a wound to protect any of us. Except for maybe Palagina. Good God, no. And if you do, why'd you let her along with us? Surely you ought to trust her as much as I do. Ma may not admit it, but she loves her family and Ashiza too. She's not unfeeling, you know. You've given me a lot to consider. I'll think on it. And I thank you for the advice. No, that can't be right. She's not a person of the cloth. Not only is she not a Gaunite, but, well, she doesn't regularly regard any god, aside from nursing a healthy respect for Andra. We'd be a terrible match, surely. Maybe it's not too late. My high priestess would say it ought to be. But no, for me, I suppose it's not. For Maya, I can look past it. But what do I do? How do I proceed? Specifically. Yeah, and your point is? I've delivered enough calves, kids, piglets, and my own baby siblings to know which bits go where, Watcher. It does, but not how you think. I'm stubborn, yeah, but I'm not entirely ignorant. All right. Then I'm simply curious as to why you care. Surely. I will if you will, Watcher. My whole life folks keep complaining 'cause I'm different. Long as I please my God, what do I care if others like me or not? Long term, you're right. Mama expected me to grow into a God-fearing bringer of the light who'd raise enough farmhands to run the family homestead. But that's not who I am. And I can't say whether it's who I'll ever want to be. I am a reaper of gone. My purpose isn't to farm, it's to shepherd the souls of the dead, Watcher. Now, you might think I can do both. Maybe someday I will. Or maybe I won't ever. But that's for me and my God to decide. I just think, why's it gotta matter until then? Take the bull by the horns, so to speak. I like it. Wish me luck, Watcher, 'cause I'm sure I'm gonna need it. Lay the bait without scaring her off. It may require more finesse than I've got, but it's a sound strategy. She's usually the one bringing trinkets back for me. I think you've got the way of it. Might be she'd like a gift for a change. Watcher, if the next word out of your mouth happens to be charms, I'm gonna show you my right fist.
Hey, Captain. I've got something on my mind. Could use a second opinion is all.
Well, I'm glad we had this little chat then. No, I mean, not yet. I mean, not ever.
You probably noticed that Shodi and I have been getting awfully cozy. Well, she made a confession to me. Mixture of feelings and tensions and other stuff.
Not exactly. Though I think she's fixing to kill a craving of mine. She's been real complimentary, and we had ourselves a moment below deck. Nothing I didn't already know, but she put a nice twist on it. When she's around, it's like I've been standing in a crow's nest for too long and finally spotted a hint of land. She gave me a real thoughtful present. Brushes, oils, and replacement parts for my rifle. At first, I didn't know if she was trying to tell me something. But later, we were chatting below deck, and we had ourselves a moment. Between her eyes and that voice, Shodi's got enough weapons at her disposal.
Shodi's a lot like her lantern. You can see straight through, but she's got a flame inside that never goes out. I like that about her. I want to see what my Firefly can do, and I know she's keen on showing me. But it's been years since I was landlocked with someone. I'm worried about cracking those glass windows of hers. I don't want to risk her flame going out. You're right about that. Could be that I'm the one that needs to toughen up for a change.
Hand over the reins, so to speak. That's a fair and refreshing point. I want to encourage this. Maybe I'm out of practice. Oh, maybe I'm just scared. I really want to deserve her. To treat her right. I know without asking that she wants the same. Am I overthinking this? I'm overthinking this.
I don't want to sound like I'm not interested. Far from it. It's just that these things usually happen as a matter of necessity. When you're on a month-long voyage and the need takes over, you learn to think of privacy, options, and planning as luxuries. That's what has me worried. It's a new kind of vulnerable. I guess life is just tossing yourself in someone's direction and hoping they catch you on the first try. Aye, Captain. I'm not gonna dive into figuring out why, but hearing that from an officer and not a friend does something for me. There's not a thing in the world that can make me more ready. Except Shodi's smile, I think.
The poetry bug didn't hit me like it hit Kana, all right? Shodi's real sweet, but she's young and doesn't have the same scar tissue some of us carry around like it's nothing. I'm worried that I'll hurt her. Take away that sunny outlook and we'll both hate me for it. I guess Shodi needs some space to figure herself out. Suppose me getting involved would only distract her. I hate to break her heart, but if there's a responsible way to go about it... Damn, I owe her that much.
I appreciate you taking the time to hear me out, Captain.
What all do you write in those reports of yours, Maya? Did you detail the Watcher? What about me?
I may have told the company one or two choice details about you.
For real? You thought me worth noting in your politic papers? Maybe I'll make my temple proud yet.
So you're flattered. Interesting. Guess I'll add that to the next report.
Ishi's crap is harder to get out of leather than tar. This is the second time he's gotten my boots.
It's a phase. He's just trying to cozy up to you, Firefly.
Well, I was sneaking him some extra seeds. Can you make him target who he poops on? 'Cause I got someone in mind.
This sounds like a story. Tell me everything.
How much of Aora have you actually visited? Which lands? No, wait. What was the strangest thing you ever saw?
Found an island with a pillar of Adra carved into a giant foot.
God, what a thrill. You're so well-traveled. It's amazing. But don't you ever miss home? What about your loved ones?
Aside from my family, anyone special to me is already here, Firefly.
Well, that's... You see, I mean, same for me. I thought I'd miss my brethren more, but having someone who understands me, it's a surprising relief.
Ishi keeps hopping in your direction, Firefly. What you been feeding him?
No more than a handful, or few, of merkberries. I swear.
You keep doing that, he's gonna follow you all the way home to Raid Saris.
To meet my kin? Now, wouldn't that be a tribulation?
I know I'd make the journey for less than a few merkberries. Tell me something you learned on the farm, Shodi.
Dried dung's good for starting fires.
Huh. Well, this has been an education. So the pirates took us for merchants and fell right into our trap.
That sure sounds dangerous and fun as hell. The first time Uncle Angbert trained me with a lantern, I set a whole row of merkberry stalks on fire.
You didn't.
I did. The whole house came running and hollering. You should have seen my grandma beating at the stalks with a shovel. Of course, she came after me next.
Not so much grows in Rautai. With a little luck, I'll have a farm story of my own someday.
I don't believe it. A copper pan from 400 yards? You're pulling my leg.
That's easy. I'll show you. Hold this up in the air and stand very still.
It's not that I don't have faith, but maybe Pallegina ought to stand in instead.
On second thought, let's practice later. I don't like this breeze. When this tour of duty is over, I'm buying my own ship. Something small and fast.
Oh, I guess you'll be off then. Sailing the high seas, chasing some grand adventure all by your lonesome.
Well, every captain needs her first mate.
And then you vomited right in my face.
Sorry about that. Was it chunky or creamy?
I think it was a shepherd's pie, so chunky.
For a girl off the farm, you've got some colorful nightmares, Shodi. The way your eyes reflect the light of that spooky lantern, well, it, gets a girl's attention is all.
Good God, I'm sorry. Here, let me dim the light.
Hey, calm down, Firefly. Bet you didn't know I had my eye on you.
My hun? Well, there's this thing I've been meaning to tell you for a while now.
What, I got something on my face?
No! It's just that you're really swell is all. And I thought, you should know it.
Swell, huh? You're looking pretty flushed for swell, Firefly.
Am I? 'Cause, that is, you're more than swell.
Let's you and me talk somewhere cool over a cup of something warm.
Look, all I'm saying is that any kith would be lucky to know you like that. Real lucky. Like, blessed by the gods lucky.
Don't sell yourself short, Firefly. I'm sure you learned a thing or two on the farm.
Not near so much as I'd like. But, I could show you. Under the light of the moon. Don't just stare at it, Maya. Take it.
A cleaning kit for my rifle. Oh, Shodi, this has everything. How much do I owe you?
What? No, hun, it's meant to be a present.
Gosh, Firefly. Here you are granting wishes and I'm empty-handed.
Since you mentioned it, one thing might come to mind.
Hey, Shodi, remember I told you about that spot on the small of my back I can't reach?
I might, yeah.
I was wondering if you could give it a scratch later when we're alone.
Oh, sure. I reckon Wait, you don't mean...
Do I need Ishi to spell it out for you, Firefly?
No, I think I'm finally hearing what you're saying, Captain.
I like how you spin a yarn, Firefly. The way it gets you all swept up and excited.
Well, thank you, Maya. I usually get to feeling like I annoy people, but you keep asking for more farm stories, so...
I could listen all night, you know.
We should definitely get together tonight by the campfire. I've been meaning to tell you about that time I rode a bull right over a hay bale.
That's awfully sweet of you to invite me. I'll bring the wine.
Alcohol? Why would we need... Oh, right. Of course. Hey, Maya, what do you say we share a drink together?
Another time. I'm trying to keep my inhibitions inhibited at the moment.
Well, that's all right. That's fine. Then how about that card game you were going to teach me?
Maybe later, Shodi.
Do you want to talk about something?
I don't... Yeah, I guess we should.
Maya, I sure missed you while you were gone.
Feelings mutual, Firefly. I promise I won't stray far from your light again.
But you may not have a choice on account of your mission, right? What if next time you don't come back again?
How's about you let me do the worrying for the both of us?
Spar with me tonight, Maya, hun? I know you don't like close combat, but I gotta burn off some of this restlessness.
Name the time and place. Ishi, no peeking this time.
What? No, I mean I'm craving a fight, something fierce, like bruised knuckles and busted lips.
Oh, guess my mind went wandering somewhere else. Course we can spar, Firefly. Don't hold anything back.
I had a dream about me and you, Maya. It was real nice.
Hope it was better than the vomit dream.
Let's just say I felt this dream down to my bones.
Oh, so that explains all the tossing and turning last night.
Well, I was thinking we could maybe try some of it tonight, if you'd like.
I'll agree to anything, if you promise to quit stealing all the blankets.
So what are we doing once this is all over? I was thinking I'd return to my temple, but that was before, you know.
If I could think that far ahead, I'd be the queen of the Deadfire by now. I don't know what'll happen, but I think we'll both weather it if we stay close. Sound all right to you?
I like that idea, yeah. You want me close? I'll be your second shadow. We'll take the future together, one day at a time.
Please, I need to be candid with you. Very well. I hope you know I have immense respect for all you've accomplished. Earlier, I told you how confident I felt in your sense of direction, how you've borne your burdens. But lately, I fear you're leading us down a troubling path. As a priest, this may be difficult for you. Tradition and liturgy are in your blood, I expect. But these things can be a crutch. I understand you monks are often bound to your customs, but they can be a crutch. You left your home because you rebelled against the establishment, so it surprises me to see you cling to it here. I know you to be thoughtful, logical, so it surprises me to see you cling so reflexively to old customs now. You are a historian. Surely you've seen the dangers of clinging to the past. Your old profession in the sciences surely taught you the value of logic over intuition. So it surprises me to see you cling to nostalgia and custom. Theos relied on people's unquestioning trust and order, their enslavement to tradition. That's how he built the Leaden Key into an organization capable of influencing events across Aora. I took it over in hopes of changing all that. Yet recently, I've seen you put entirely too much faith in old ways of doing things. But lately, you don't seem to recognize the gravity of the situation before you. That troubles me. You're probably not accustomed to being in a position of authority. After all, you left your homeland because you rebelled against the powers there. I suspect you may have an uncomfortable relationship with authority. You grew up with status and privilege. Perhaps you never bore the responsibility that comes with rank. I know you have a troubled past. You've learned to look out for yourself, and you're accustomed to going where the wind takes you. You have a good heart. I've seen you follow it more than once. Nevertheless, chasing Aethys and treating with the leaders of Deadfire has put you in a position of incredible responsibility. I know you care deeply about a great many things. You're certainly not shy about expressing it. You're often so careful with your words. It surprises me you could be careless in other regards. You're truthful and straightforward, and I admire that. I only wish you took your role more seriously. It so often seems you're oblivious to the lives that depend on you, or unconcerned by them. I must admit, after receiving so much advice from you, it feels strange to be on the other end of things. At least I know where we stand. I do hope so. We both know the choices before us aren't always clear or simple. I only ask that you give them due attention. Of course not. I only ask that you do what you can. Perhaps I should know better by now than to take you at face value. Well, thank you for hearing me out. This is a great weight off my chest. The leaders of nations and powers listen to you. The gods themselves rely on you. You have a responsibility to use these opportunities to free Kith from destructive habits and antiquated customs. Nekataka may be divided, but its people look to you. You may not be held in the highest esteem in Nekataka, but whether its people like you or not, you have a duty to them. I can only hope you keep that in mind. No more than any of us can do. These things are traps, nothing more. Perhaps not, but what of everyone else? Those kith whose fates you decide. Just consider it. I'm relieved to hear it. If nothing else, I appreciate that you've taken the matter to heart. Thank you for hearing me out. For whatever reason, the gods have decided to trust you with the fate of the world. You continue to rely on provincial assumptions, cheap superstitions. Take the gullet, a squalid slum, and all because Huana custom separates the castes. I told you about the bloodletting in Old Valia, yes? Generations of suffering, and all for reasons no one even understood. You saw the Wahaki. They became a paranoid, isolated little tribe because none of them thought to question their hatred of outsiders. Or do you think Bayan and the others would have followed Gadarian Bosch if not for their unquestioning faith in Aethasian tradition? Back in the Deerwood, even you admitted Sagani's search for her elder was a waste of 5 years. Surely you can recognize what a danger this is. Enlighten me. I suppose that's true. I hadn't thought of it that way. I didn't mean to imply... never mind. Perhaps it's not as simple as I thought. Still, I hope you'll take my warning to heart. Yes, and it makes them ignorant and complacent. I can't make your decisions for you, but I do hope you'll take my warning to heart. I suppose I do. I beg your pardon? I suppose you're right. I beg your pardon? As you wish. And you of all people are going to tell me about being opinionated? Fie, Watcher, you're getting his gaff now. Tell him, Watcher. You think you've got it all figured out, don't you? Well, perhaps you don't know me as well as you think. I don't have to. I've got nothing to prove to you. I suppose you're right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I need a moment to myself. An excellent suggestion. What? I'm a solitary man at the best of times, and this is a most unusual moment to form intimate attachments. Perhaps, but in what measure? You might find this hard to believe, but you're not the first person to tell me that. Yes, I'd say our pursuit of Aethys has left us with quite enough to handle. Well, thank you for this diversion, nonetheless. Sorry. It's hard enough sharing my head with one other person. I'm not sure I can accommodate more. Thank you. If she had her say in this, I wouldn't want for intimate company. There's just too much else going on right now. I've spent most of my life hiding parts of myself, my name, my identity, my awakening, from everyone else. I'm not sure I know another way. I'm sorry. That's what I'm trying to say. I need time. You continue to act as if you're beholden to no one. But, like it or not, you are responsible for the lives that have been placed in your hands. You can't shrug this off. Surely I've earned more consideration than that. I beg your pardon? Surely that's not the same. Theos was a madman. Do you think I chose my awakening? Or my responsibilities with the leaden key? You're missing the point. I was there. That made it my responsibility. Just as Aethys, the Deadfire, and the rest are yours. Do you? Then you shan't. I must say, our adventures together have been a welcome change of pace. I know I expressed my doubts about you earlier. I take them all back. Very well. You know what I mean. That we do, but it's more than that. When we first met in the Deerwood, you were struggling for your sanity. Now you're fighting for your soul. I can't imagine the weight of that burden. And yet you've borne it, and more remarkably. But you do. That's precisely what I mean. I'm glad it appears so, though I'm hardly in the same position as you. And Berith herself, I imagine. The gods have sent you after Aethys. The people of Nekitaka look to you, and every power of note in Deadfire has their own plans for you. That puts you in a position of incredible influence. I've known you to be a person of rare kindness. I've known you to be a person of strong principles. I've known you to be forceful at times, hot-headed even. It is sometimes difficult to gauge what truly matters to you. You often seem indifferent to what happens around you. I've always known you to be thoughtful and deliberate. Still, I'm pleased to see that you don't take your responsibilities lightly. We all do, but so few of us are in the position to do so much. I hope you'll remember this in the days to come. If only more people did as much. Perhaps so. But you must know how many lives hang in the balance. If only more people thought as you do. After all we've seen, how can you say that? At Sun and Shadow, you determined the fate of thousands of souls. I should hope you gave the matter due consideration. Please, just remember this in the days to come. For the first time in a long while, I feel truly confident in where I'm going, what I'm doing. With you, I mean. I didn't mean to be callous. It's just... whatever works for you, I suppose. That's precisely what I mean. You and I are rather different. You're bold, brash, more like Isilmir, I suppose. You're forward, outspoken. Perhaps that's why you're decisive where I'm uncertain. You know what must be done, and you don't hesitate. You and I have so much in common. We both tend to keep matters to ourselves, with good reason, I'm sure. We both think before we act, a sensible habit, but frightfully uncommon. We're both careful with our words, with good reason, of course. And yet you're decisive where I'm uncertain. Somehow you know what must be done, and you don't hesitate. I'm so rarely sure of anything, not the least when it comes to the grand affairs of gods and kith. But you always seem so certain. Somehow you know what must be done, and you don't hesitate. I admire that. Come now, you make this look easy. I don't know that I could trust myself with the decisions you're making. My own brief time hunting the leaden key has taught me there's nothing enviable about the position you're in. And yet you've borne it well. That's what duty is, isn't it? Simply doing what must be done. I'm glad you find it so, for few would be up to it. Whatever my faults, a lack of self-awareness is not among them. Perhaps what I mean is, if we must be caught between the gods and the wheel, then I'm glad you're on our side. I gladly would. That means a lot. Thank you. Now I hope you'll excuse me, but I really must review my grimoire. Well, that was unexpected, but not unwelcome, and I've come to care for you. No, not at all. I've always been solitary by nature. It's been a relief to let my guard down with you, though. That's just the thing. Then I hope you'll understand where I'm coming from. I've spent most of my life hiding parts of myself, my name, my identity, my awakening, from everyone else. I'm not sure I know another way. My reticence isn't about you. After living with Isilmir for so long, I've come to value privacy. The space to think and reflect in solitude. I'm not talking about physical space. Think of her as an intrusive neighbor, not always present, but rarely far away. Still, she's the least of my concerns. I don't know where exactly our journeys will take us, or what will happen when we find Aethys. And I will have to return to my work with the leaden key if we survive this ordeal. I don't want to make a commitment to you that I can't honor, and I certainly don't want to deceive you about my intentions. Perhaps not. Still, I don't regret any time we've shared. I'm glad we spoke of this. Yes. I like the sound of that.
Captain, something's been rubbing me the wrong way. Right then, thanks for teaching me my place. If I'm being honest, and I fucking hate honesty, I'm not certain how I fit with this crew. Oh, that's so. The islands can be a dry and poxy ore for loners and misfits. Easier waters by far with a friend at your back. Seems to me you could be showing me a tad more trust. There ain't another among your crew that knows the dangers of the Deadfire like I do. Thanks, Captain. Right. Mayhaps I've not yet earned your trust, but I've found trust be like water. It flows easiest upstream to down. I ain't your swabby. I ain't a powder monkey or a cabin boy. And I certainly ain't your fucking slave, savvy? Aye, Captain. Though since one of you giving one bilge-rat's ass what be going on in my head. I'd hope so, given you be the one that makes it such. Just been pondering on the differences twixt you and Captain Ferrante. Never much like the old bastard, but at least I had reason to trust him. I may not have been thick as blood with the gentleman's crew, but at least the salty bastards treated me with respect. I won't be arguing on that, but same as it was with Ferrante, be plain as a dear wood farmer that you and me ain't friends, nor never will be neither. Then try harder. Problem be, Captain, I've rarely met a more rotting kith than yourself. Gods know that I be no clergyman, but you make what few convictions I hold seem the dedication of a raid-searing saint. Takes a right bastard to be leaving a friend to drown in sand. Mayhaps you remember veritably selling that lad of Facinas to the Rowatai? 2 words for you, Cap. Crook, spur. Need I be reminding you of the wee Orlan lass you abducted and then brutally murdered? Well, I weren't the fondest of Alof. I suppose I should be mentioning how you marooned that poor prat. If this be a jest, Captain, it be a shit one. Otherwise, I wish I could be believing that, Captain. You be a scourge of a man, Cap, but I'll do your bidding. For now. Then happily do I resign my post. I'll be returning to my real crew upon the Gentlemen of Leisure. All due respect, Watcher. Fuck you too. Too late for that, Watcher. You and me, we ain't nothing no more. Mayhaps we never were. Ahoy, Captain. If I could bend your ear a moment, I'll be aiming to thank you for bringing me aboard. I know we ain't always seen cod to cock, but serving with you's a welcome change from the Gentlemen of Leisure all the same. You run a tight shop, and you ain't no terrible person neither. It'd be a welcome change from the Gentlemen of Leisure. Aye, Captain Watcher. Back to duty then. I've a gift for you. This trinket be from one of the first ships I hunted. Malnage would have snatched it had I not found a perfect hiding spot. Don't rightly know for sure, Cap. Thought at first she wanted me. Lasses be that way sometimes, treating you worse the more they fancy you. Given she tried to get me killed twice within our first fortnight together, I thought mayhaps she were in deepest love. Didn't fancy her in the least, but a man has needs, and I figured at the time that she were as wet as any other lass. Figured I'd give her a whisper about what we might get down to in the old. Her answer were an unequivocal no, made with a sharpness. Might have been the closest I've ever been to death. Aye, Captain, you ain't farting out your mouth there. Something you might want to be keeping in mind yourself. Can't fault you that. Malnage be one of my least favourite things to speak of. As I said, I never rightly figured it out. It worked that I were all in, given she were too. Romaro said she might have been emerald green with envy, but I'll be well hisself if I know what's of. As a ship hunter, mayhaps. I've certainly outpaced her since, if I do say so myself. Mayhaps she saw that coming. Well, thank you kindly for the caution, Captain Watcher. I'll set myself to practicing my breaststroke. Aye, that's about how I had it figured too. My mouth's landed me in straits a time of 10. Just never figured Mulnage is the sensitive sort, savvy? I know were I to tell you that, you mightn't want it no more. Just a jest, Cap. Nay, I tucked it away in my beard. Didn't wear braids back then, so my hair caught about everything from feathers to fish bones. Mulnage shook me down for plunder after each raid, and I figured out she wouldn't go nowhere near my beard. Said my face were like a saw rip fetish. You be entirely welcome. Now, if you'll pardon me, I've roundabout reached my limit for sentiment. Eh? Suit yourself then. But just so you be knowing, it be considered cock-rotten luck to refuse a pirate's gift sincerely given. The gentleman is only the finest ship among the Principe, and Captain Ferrante our most respected shipmaster. It were 2 honours and a half to be chosen to join his crew. Now don't sell yourself a Suole short, Cap, nor me neither. I know an opportunity when I bought it. I'd seen what there were to be seen upon the gentleman, learn what ropes were to be learned. Methinks a watcher after a dead god'll thrust me into an whole new set of eye-openings. And believe you me, I do appreciate myself a good thrust. Aye, you ain't wrong. Joining the gentleman meant leaving the sorcerer, leaving the only family I've ever known. I never knew no kin till the sorcerer. They be my salt family. And to me, that be better far than blood. Ahoy, Captain! Most everything, Cap. Wouldn't dream of it, Captain. Truth be told, I've not felt so cosy in a crew since my tour on the Sorcerer. With Romero and the lot. Good times and a half, that. Methinks me more crazy uncle than brother, but I appreciate your saying it all the same. By way of expressing my gratitude, I've a tribute to be presenting. It's meant to be worn by a great captain. I think you rightly qualify. And I think you'll look right spiff in it too. Pleasure be entirely mine, Cap. May it serve you at least half as well as I. Romero gifted it to me when I took leave of the Sorcerer. He had this notion I'd make captain myself some day. I'd be an at least half-able pirate captain were I so inclined, if for nothing other than my adversaries underestimating me. My friends, too. Mayhaps I coveted a captain's quarters when I were a wee swabby, but serving with Ferrante, with yourself, seeing what leading a crew takes, well, I reckon it's like marrying. It just ain't for me. First, I've got less than an all-in's thimble worth of patience for all the politics, glad-handing, cronyism and sycophancy that goes along with the Consuelo. But mostly, this heart be twice as soft as this belly. Probably as furry, too. Mayhaps I could captain a boat like yourself, all even-keeled and kindly. But you're a rare sort, aren't you? The captain's wheel demands choices hard and harder. And there's some things I don't much want weighing on my soul when it goes to Andra.
I like when people compliment you, Watcher. Shows they're smart.
Most helms could use a captain with a thimble of self-awareness.
You have a heart as good as your mouth is foul, Seraphin.
I've always had a way with the lasses. Oh, appreciate the sentiment, Cap, but, let's not make things uncomfortable. If I didn't know better, Cap, I'd be thinking you fancied a thorough swabbing below decks. Right laugh, that. Captain, all jokes aside, you should be knowing up front that I ain't the marrying type. Verily, that I can be providing. Aye, Captain. What be broken me, there ain't fixing. Wish it weren't so, but I ain't nobody to offer no sort of future. Sorry, Cap. Nay, Cap. And best we be belaying this talk. Sorry. It ain't everybody's. If you be finding my sidearms impressive, you should be seeing my long arm. Careful, Cap. Someone of your obvious prowess might just sink the ship. You be saying that like it be an either-or. Cap, it's, well, It ain't like I don't think highly of you, and being short and blue, I know I ain't got much room to, I find the whole reminder of me mortality thing a bit off-putting. It's just, I'd be worried, you know, on account of my fur and your fire. See, my relationship with Andra, it'd be complicated enough as is. Not just, the horns, the flowers and all. Sorry, Cap. No, more, flog me. More not being quite attracted to the, bits and bobs that come with being godlike. No. Aye, Cap.
Captain, a word? Kara, but humor me. You came to the Deadfire for your own reasons. The problems of others, they must be noisy obstacles by comparison. We both know the burden of being looked to as a source of hope. What say? And you wish for a moment of silence to dampen the rabble. Oh no? You have not been the savior of an archipelago as long as some of us. Well, then you have the distinction of being more generous than Ngati's chosen. Ikera, just so. It is relaxing to lose yourself in another, I say. I am feeling braver than normal. Ikera, a good captain has that effect on their crew. All the powers of the Deadfire have their eyes on the Watcher of Cadnua. Tell me, is the Watcher watching anyone? Ah, so innocence and piety inflamed your desire. A pity you did not glance in my direction sooner, Captain. The pain of a missed opportunity. It is divine, I say. Say no more. I will not add a fish to the love triangle of Captain, Sharpshooter, and Bird.
Smart boy.
What say? The academic? Then I hope you two continue to amuse each other. Dead? Kara, the blood which rushed to occupy one place has gone to all other places at once. No one with a beating heart, then? Kara, I forgive this reckless fish for testing the waters. I will bother you no more. To be between lovers is a terrible thing unless one is physically between them, I say. For once, Ngati answers my prayers. Captain, I would speak plainly. Are you as excited by the possible? What I mean is, if we were to... I know, Kara, something about your company stirs my nerves. If we were to share more than just quarters below deck, does the idea appeal to you? If such things interest you, my last haphazard coupling was not so long ago, in Nekataka, in fact. Jealousy doesn't suit you, Captain. Hush, Captain. This talk is distracting enough as it is. Ikera, I am the hope and destiny of my people. My heart is full of stories. She was a godlike, one of Amira's brood. Her hair is neat and orderly as a raven's wing. We found each other in the market and made ourselves comfortable behind a fishmonger's stall. She left me this as a keepsake. I never knew her name. Now I do not have to suffer the pangs of forgetting it. Most desperately. But I do not cage love or force it to be anything but itself. A bird fluttered away. She was not mine to keep. Charm? Oh, not so, Captain. I would have you know me by my impulses, my desires. These are Tekehu as much as the living God. As you say, Captain. I do not want you to misunderstand. I am a sea anemone, hungry and eager to close around stimulation. I would draw you in with care, with patience. I know of one way to find out. Ikera, then may we put up a merry chase for each other. We could blunt our teeth on more idle chatter, but I cherish the suspense. Come. Well, it helps when both parties are beautiful, full of desire, and have no afternoon plans. I was expected at the Guildhall, but one must have their priorities. Captain, what has been your most impressive feat of seduction? Ha! Very good, I say. Flatterer. Oh, boorishness does not suit you, Captain. I once bedded a Rowatayan admiral without exchanging a word. Makara, there are other topics? I say that sex is useful for clarifying my intentions. One of the Hazanui passed through Neketaka on a diplomatic mission. She insisted on visiting the Watershapers Guild. Surveying the competition, I say. Myru paraded me before her, thinking I alone could intimidate Rowatai's fleet. Gods, Captain. Her muscles had muscles. She had all the delicacy and grace of a clenched fist. I wanted a taste of this power. She mentioned offhandedly that her ship needed repairs before the return voyage. I say you can imagine what happened next. Eventually. I heard that she spent her evenings in the officers' lounge, strategizing over drinks. I covered my magnificence under a peasant's cloak and made for the brass citadel. The guards of the lounge would not grant me entry at first. Not until I explained that I was the evening's entertainment. I did. So eager, I say. Naturally, my story checked out when they realized I was nude under the cloak. I presented myself before the stunned officers. The Hazanui wore an expectant smile. Winking at her, I mounted one of the map tables and gyrated to some of Rowatai's bawdiest sea shanties. When enough was enough, the Hazanui signaled for everyone to clear the room, and the war games began. You know that fervor is a quality I cherish. But let us wait for a time. Prolong our delights, Akara? Akara, you might think so, but Rowatai's fleet pulled its ships away from Neketaka the following morning. Let it never be said that I failed to serve my people. Well, it does not take much to get my hips shaking, I say, though I appreciate any encouragement.
I want better for him than you.
She bade me lay down on the map. Once I was situated, she chided me for leaving my borders unprotected. Naughty boy that I am. Her armada sailed against my island with a heavy assault. She bellowed the most vile and depraved orders. In the end, I stole back the advantage, firing a cannon across her port side and leaving the magnificent vessel crippled in the water. If you ever want to find out, I am an adventurous fish. Akara, I hope so. Otherwise, I might have started a war. Ours was a battle of endurance, not tactics, but I cherished winning a victory for the Juana.
That does sound mighty impressive.
Be kind to yourself, Captain. Make sure there is something left for me. It is relaxing to crouch in your shade, Captain. I hope you do not mind if I tarry a while. I come to you with another tale of indecency, assuming you would enjoy having your blood flow steered southward. Last time, I say, you showed some reluctance. With none of the context to bless my passion with significance? I won't have it, Captain. Stories deserve better. Before I came to Neketaka, I spent many a night alone tending to signal fires on the beaches of my village. One lonely evening, a shadow approached me. He was an Aumaua as tall as the crags of Magran's teeth. He planted his harpoon in the ground and knelt to warm his hands. Akara, and we have only just begun. Well, the same thing anyone wants at night, around the fire. Warmer hands. He was a whaler on a year-long voyage, his ship weighed down with meat, oil, and bone. But he studied me like I was something new to the sea. For hours we spoke of his travels. He left at first light, but not before asking to touch me, here. Good luck, I suppose. By day, he traded with my village. I saw him in the market, the Ranga's hut. He saw me as well. When the moon rose, I led him from the guest hut and showed him the stars from the beach, and much else besides. He is out there still, spearing Ngati's less handsome children with his magnificent harpoon. We did not last, but that is not a story for today. I was not at first. You mean the prize lure of my tackle box? I am as the goddess made me, beautiful, imperfect, and desiring. Nothing else matters. There is some faint bioluminescence, quite harmless. Thank you for listening, Captain. You would be surprised. It is no matter. Another time. Considering all that vies for our attention, I wondered if I could indulge you in a diversion. I had hoped to take your mind from duty. Just this once? Captain, I feel we drift apart. Either I am not the same fish who was charmed into pursuit, or you are not the same captain. I say the difference matters little. I say we are both overworked, poorly rested, and deserving of an evening to ourselves. Arrangements have been made in the Wild Mare. I wondered if you would join me. Akira, wonderful, I say. To the mare, then. This is paradise, I say, second only to the guild for introspection. I secured us a room, Captain. Some privacy. I see. How am I to take this, Captain? Has the weight of the archipelago made a burden of our union? Akira, it is no trouble. Akira, but reel in your nets a moment. Akira, my thoughts exactly. I feel I must explain my intentions. At least I have not frightened you off with my chatter. Akira, no. A bit more complicated. Not much, but a bit. Setting aside my carnal compulsions, you deserve to know why I have pestered you with tales of my antics. The feathered godlike from Neketaka? The children of Amira and Ngati were too evenly matched. I sought difference and found only a mirror. Is it wrong to want disparity? To hope for a partner greater than you? Too tall by far. Akira, that goes without saying. My strong Hazanui? Our coupling was diplomacy, a chance joining of competing powers. Agreed. I was a tuna caught in her net. Akira, only be sure you have the stamina for it. A passing delight, I say. Then there was my handsome whaler, a perfect specimen, weathered, elusive, aggressive. But the morning after our coupling, I awoke to him praying at my feet. Akira, just so. Well, I hope that Mother Ngati sent a barbed ravager after him. Taking your hand and leading you through my perversions, my failures, it was not done for my ego alone, Captain. In the arms of a lover, I want to forget what I am to my people. I don't want to be cherished. I want to vanish. I want to be squeezed and pushed and gobbled up until there is nothing of Takehu for his people to find. And I fear this will never happen. Really? Akira, that sounds wonderful. Can we eclipse each other, Captain? Can the Watcher and the Chosen Sun blot each other out so that no one can see us? After all that we shared? You can? Will you let me be in great need, wanting nothing more than to shrug off the weight of the archipelago and forget myself in your arms? None of this is easy. We can only try to make it simpler for those we love. Thank you, Captain. You are more special than you know, Captain. Of course, Captain. I move fast, I say. I promise I will move slower when we are alone.
I'll bet he'll never eat seafood the same way again.
Why am I here for this? Why?
It's all fun and games until he sprays you with ink and swims away.
Don't be minding me, Cap. I can appreciate watching an artist at work.
The gods knew what they were doing when they assembled you for me. Whatever happens, Akira. Yes, Captain. For now, Akira, but my needs are most insatiable. Do not let me fall asleep unless I am by your side, wearing not the frown of a savior, but the smile of an innocent fool. We will both sleep better for this, I am thinking. I will pat your brow when meddlesome spirits invade your dreams. I would not mind that, though she might take offense. Yes, sir. We have a room, Captain. I plan on using it. Captain, that was exceptionally well done. You have worked yourself into a deserving rest. Captain, give your handsome shark an hour to replenish his stamina, I say. Does it? I say you will get used to the smell before long. Come, the sea air will do us both some good. Captain, Of course, as you say.
You hurt him. You hurt my boy. What? Ungrateful, unloving creature. I should let the maw of the Deadfire close around you. Pray to another god that you sail faster than my wrath.
I canna your look, Adair. Something's champing at you. I've been telling folks I'm all right. But the truth is, thinking about facing Aethys keeps me up at night. Aye, I expect so. 'Tis a stouter feat than braving that old bone bag Theos. Didn't think much rattled you. And so you shouldn't. Someone's got to keep the lad on his feet. That's just an old habit. He can stand on his own now. I like him to think so. He loses himself at times. I dinna want he should con it, but... 'tis a right chore keeping the lad from himself. But someone's got to show him his limits, eh? You're a gentler soul than you let on. I wish more people could see it. Most folk judge only by their gaping and gawping. Not so with ye. I had you wrong too. Up till recently. But I'm glad to know you now. Aye, dear, there's plenty of an economy. 'Tisn't always easy being stuck in this one's bone bag. Nothing and no one to myself. If matters were otherwise, I could see a lass like me with a right fine lad like yourself. I always thought you were special too. Shame you're stuck where you are. Gets a lass to wondering. Fie and cock's feathers, pay me no heed. Hey, you can ask me. I've wondered what it might feel to have your arms twining me. Your lips on mine. Didn't think you meant... Wouldn't Aloth mind? You didn't con him as I do. Poor lad has a kind, trusting heart. He wants that I should be happy. If that's how he feels, I want you to be happy too. What exactly are you doing? Aloth? Who else would I be, you idiot? Oh, your face, Adair. Only thing finer in seeing it is feeling this lad's ire. Oh, now I get it. That's pretty good. Fie, what's that I feel? Might it be a kindling where? I think we can all agree to forget that ever happened. Yeah, this all makes a lot more sense now, looking back. You'd think they both would have grown out of it by now. Adair and Isilmir, you've seen how they're always carrying on. I've come to expect better from her, but Adair seems to bring out her worst. I'm loath to admit it, but yes. I hardly care what those two rubes think. Of them, you must be joking. It's just... there's something about it that brings me back to our time in the Deerwood. Perhaps for you, you cured your awakening and ended up with a keep. For a while. I remember the lost, fretful person I was then. I don't enjoy it. But I've changed, even if Adair hasn't. You give him too much credit. As a matter of fact, you give everyone too much credit. You've clearly seen plenty that I haven't. Very well, I'll do as you suggest. In any case, thank you. I should have expected as much from you. You, of all people, are counseling restraint? You make it sound so simple. I'll try. In any case, thank you for listening. I can always count on you to appeal to reason, can't I? I should know to expect the hard truth from you by now. I suppose you're right. Consider my expectations duly lowered. That's hardly fair, but I won't waste my breath. Anyhow, thank you for listening. I suppose this is my problem to solve after all. Nevertheless, thank you for listening. I'm a little worried about Aloth. I think the strain of the journey is getting to him. He's not his usual self. The old Aloth used to really like it when we made fun of him. He'd just stand there real quiet with his mouth sort of twitching and his eyes real big like he couldn't believe how good we were getting him. But the new Aloth doesn't just sit and take it. It's like he's losing his sense of humor. No, not all of it. There's the leaden key. We went all the way through the Deerwood to stop them. Now Aloth just picks up where Theos left off? The leaden key, I don't need to tell you what they did. Just about everything I ever cared about back home, they ruined it. What do you suppose Aloth's been up to these last few years? And why do you suppose he's back here with us? I don't like thinking this way. I'm just not at ease since we, happened to come across him. I'm not saying we gotta do anything crazy, but maybe we need to be more careful around him. I don't know. Something doesn't sit right is all. You telling me you don't have suspicions? You're right. I was there to see it. Just needed reminding is all. He did, once. But seeing as how he replaced Theos, it makes you wonder about his reasons. That doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence. Not sure we wouldn't be better off just hiring somebody. Aloth's about as far from Theos as it gets. It does give me some hope. Yeah, I'd like to believe that. But it seems more likely the leaden key would change Aloth than the other way around. Well, appreciate you taking the time. Fair enough. I'll have to think on it. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Well, sure, but you don't want to dig in, see if you can solve the problem? All right. I'll see what I can do. Crone? Aloth? How? He still does that thing with his hands. He still, you know... Although I guess he said about taking apart the leaden key. Can't see old Aloth doing something like that. And he does say what's on his mind more. Like now he tells us when he has to relieve himself instead of disappearing from the campsite and getting us all worried. I see your point. Gonna miss old Aloth, though. He was a lot of fun. That's exactly what Isilmir said, too. I can't imagine both of you being wrong. See, that's not what he says. But I like your way better. All right. I think that straightens some things out. Hey, I wanted to ask you something. It's about Shodi. She means well. I can see that. And she's spirited, and if I was still young and didn't know the things I know, it'd be different. But anybody got that much faith in any god, let alone Aethys? I don't know how to talk to someone like that. Not these days. I get why she's like that. And I was there once, long time back. But it's 'cause of that I can't see a way to respect it. I'm no good at hiding it from her either. I don't see this getting better. All right, I'm not gonna hide it. Won't be pretty, though. It doesn't seem like she's any different than what she shows. Same thing, really. That's just her trying to find a way to worship Aethys that makes sense to her. I guess that sounds familiar now that you mention it. I don't think she'll take well to that. But maybe that's for the best. I've never been much of a liar. Folks tend to see through. All right, I'll do like you said. I don't think she'll believe me, but I'll do it.
You're a follower of the light?
The light? Oh, you mean, well, depends on what you mean by follow.
Maybe you heard earlier. I follow Aethys too. Mostly, in a way. I mean, I am a child of the Dawn Stars, even if firstly I'm a Gaunite.
That's good, I guess. For you.
Oh, maybe you don't want to talk about it. That's all right. Surely some other time, then. Was it the way I said it? Or maybe I'm in need of a washing. When I was little, me and my brothers used to spend hours chasing each other through the Merkberry fields. Don't think a day went by I didn't have a skinned knee or a bleeding elbow.
Oh, we did that sometimes. Only my brother usually had a hand in the bleeding.
He older or younger than you? Either way, I bet he's just as strapping.
Older. Was older. Then Raid Sarah's invaded.
Oh, of course, it's gone, but I'm so sorry. Adair, I get the feeling you don't like me much. Was it something I said? I think it was something I said.
No, it's not, you're not doing anything wrong, exactly.
Really? I mean, you tell me if you had a problem, right? If I'd bothered you this whole time?
It's nothing personal. I just don't think we need to be talking is all.
Oh, well, thanks for clearing that up. If I collapse, just drag me on a rope.
This why you always got dirt in your hair?
What, you mean the grave dirt?
I wonder if I took to worshiping Andra, if she could make me forget what I just heard. Hey, Shodi, those dreams of yours, they still getting to you?
Oh, I'm right as rain, and I think it's best if you don't worry so much about me.
Right. Well, I'll stop worrying then.
I can deal with the dreams, for better or worse. What makes me sweat is the not knowing. What happens when I stand face to face with my God, and he reveals what he intends for me? What if it's not as I thought?
Yeah, I've had thoughts like that for a long time. Except now I'm worried about what he intends for the world.
Whatever it might be, at least we'll face it together.
I know you were expecting different from Aethys, and I was too.
I just thought for sure I'd have my answers. Now I don't know what to do.
You'll figure something. Something will feel right to you.
Guess I might will then. Thanks. About Alava. I'm sorry. She must have meant a real lot to you.
Oh, more than I knew. Less than she deserved. But that's all past now. For a moment there, I thought her son might have been mine.
It's a shame he wasn't. You would have been good to him. Good for him, too.
When I heard, I didn't think I was ready. Then I thought maybe I was. Moths been eating through all my good clothes lately. Just realized why.
Why? It wouldn't happen to be on account of my lantern, would it?
I know you think it's funny, but the moths are so big here.
It's a divine light, meant to cut through the darkness. Of course it's gonna draw the biggest ones.
Oh, some of my pants wouldn't be polite to wear them in public anymore.
Darn! I don't know what happened. I'm usually faster than that, I swear.
No one's that bad at Orland Slap, and I've played against some real sorry folk.
Maybe I'm just the sorriest of the lot.
Something tells me that ain't it. Some of these fights we've been in, you've bailed me out more than once.
You'd do the same for any of us.
Don't tell, but I try harder for the ones I like better.
You've done the same for me.
I had to. You're down 6 copper to me in Orland Slap, so your helping me means more.